I see Kevin sigh there. Good morning to you.
Hi, good
Thanks for coming
morning.
to see
No
us.
problem.
Sally's joined us. Well, do you want to sort of set up our chat with Kevin a little bit for us in terms of context?
Shall I say this?
Yeah.
He's the greatest ever run scorer for England.
Yeah.
That's quite a big thing.
Do you want to say any more than that? That's quite a big build-up.
I'm very nervous coming on these shows.
You're so not nervous. We've been chatting outside. You're not nervous
Yeah,
at
but
all.
now we're on deck.
You may be a bit
I'm very
sleep
uncomfortable
deprived.
here, so can we leave it at that?
Yeah, okay. Okay. I'm going to start with a question that you're going to like, because you don't like keeping quiet, do you? And you have had to really not speak too much about your England cricketing career recently, but now all of that has changed. How much of a relief is it that your confidentiality agreement with the ECB is now over?
I suppose it's good and it's bad. The good being that I'm able to just feel free in terms of giving my side of the story and how I saw it happen. I think it's really important that I came out, because a lot of the public were looking at the situation going, how could this happen? What's actually happened? And I was never able to give my side of the story. So the good side of it is the ability to come out and say, this is what I think happened. The bad is that I'm not playing cricket for England anymore. That's the bad.
We should say at this point, because nobody will have read the book just yet, because it's not quite out yet, is
A couple of days.
What did happen?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was strange circumstances. It was circumstances which weren't fun, and it's clearly outlined in the book what my side of the story is in terms of how I went with the coach, and yeah, it's just really sad to be sitting here having to do all these interviews doing a book like this.
You say in the book that you felt at times that you were bullied.
Well, I was talking in terms of personal stuff, the Twitter account, in terms of the parody Twitter account that I was led to believe from a former England player who was told by the guy who set the Twitter account up that it was being run from inside my dressing room. And when I got told that, I just immediately, I had that feeling that when you think you've lost your phone or you've lost your wallet and your heart sinks and you get that horrendous feeling in your stomach. When I got told that in the dressing room at the Oval by another senior player about it, I was ruined. I mean, that absolutely ruined me. There's one thing about happening banter and bits and pieces going on inside you, but when it's public humiliation, because that Twitter account was gaining a lot of momentum very quickly, and I didn't like it.
So, Kevin, let's talk about some of the specifics you go into. For example,
Yeah.
the changing room, you say, was run by the bowlers. And there was a fear factor there.
Yeah.
For example, you go into detail saying that if someone drops a catch,
Yeah.
well, you were obliged, management was saying, other players had to apologise?
Well, they demanded an apology. They wanted people to say sorry to them. And I took the stance that if you're playing international cricket or you're playing international sport for your country, the television screens are there, you're being judged all the time. You should be being judged in your own dressing room. And for the bowlers, when there was talk about some of the younger players feeling intimidated to field the ball or catch the ball for England, I was of the stance that that's wrong. It cannot be right. And when you stand, and we had a team meeting in Bangalore before the Indian One Day International in India, and you get two of the bowlers who disagree with the captain and the coach and say, no, we deserve an apology. I was flabbergasted. I was like, this cannot happen, man. This just cannot happen. So, yeah, that's just one little bit in the book, but I also don't like the stream of interviews just being bad stuff. I mean, I've had the most amazing career. I've played with the most amazing players. I've won 4 Ashes series. I've won a World Cup with England. There's so many good blokes.
Well, should we try and get some of the bad stuff out of the way? We have to ask the question, because already, I don't know if you've read the papers this morning, your colleagues who are in the same dressing room at the same time, witnessing the same thing, well, they're saying you're making up a story, that it's codswallop. I mean, these are the quotes from your fellow professionals.
And I totally get that, and I think it's Graham Swan you were referring to, and he was a fantastic cricketer, fantastic bowler, and clearly he's the one who's been implicated in this. But if you have a look at the flip side of that, you've got another player who was involved in the dressing room tweeting last night saying, KP's given his opinion, and now you can see what actually went on in that dressing room.
What is?
So, I mean, it's uneasy. It's not nice.
Yeah, and there's lots
nice
of, there are, as you say, lots of people reacting, and your opinion is out there. Well, I mean, what's entirely clear from anybody who's not been in that dressing room is that things went sour. And
that's the sad thing.
So what's the way out of that, I'm wondering?
Well, Andy Flower's not coach anymore, so that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing at all.
And what about the sort of, the sort of culture that you're referring to?
The culture, I think, can change now because Alistair Cook's a fantastic guy. I've always wanted Alistair to do really well. I've always held him in high esteem. I've spoken so positively about him, and I'll continue to do so because he is a nice guy. And they don't have Pryor in the team anymore. The ECB have booted him out. And Andy Flower's no longer in charge. So I think this team can grow with the youngsters, and it's been amazing to see how well Root, Balance, Bell, all these guys have done this season. It really has been nice to see the youngsters do well.
And the key question from your point of view, and you talk about all the good things that happened, is there a day that you might play for England again?
Who knows? Who knows? A lot of people have been on looking at my interviews now saying, well, this guy needs to get back into the scene. But then you've got the other guys working with the ECB machine saying...
So it's not a no from you?
It's not a no. Of course it's not a no for me. I'd prefer not to be sitting here. I prefer to still be playing for England.
I want to know, not long after the parody Twitter account came to light and that was all going on, you sent some texts to South African friends on the South African team while you were playing for England about Andrew Strauss.
No, not about. I didn't send about Andrew Strauss. There was a general theme about Andrew Strauss, who was treating me horrendously around the guys, trying to pull me away from South African players. And at that time, it was a week after I did find out about the parody account. So I did find out that stuff was going on inside my dressing room. I was in an absolute emotional low. I was crying in the dressing room to the coach saying, how the hell has this happened? How can I be sitting here now, having done everything I've done for England, crying in the dressing room saying to you, how can this have happened? The theme of the messages was one of, obviously he was treating me badly, and I regret it. I totally regret it because I like Andrew Strauss, I really do. And some of the relationships that have gone a bit iffy over the last however long, it doesn't make me happy. And I hold my hands up and I regret it. I went to his house and apologised. And in our situations, the partners go through exactly what we go through. We're the ones who label. I'm sitting here now and my wife will go through this exact same thing. She's probably watching now and she'll see the whole thing. And so I actually said to him, I said, I'm really close to Ruth, his wife. I said, please tell Ruth I'm sorry. I did not mean this to happen.
Do you think, though, at that point, it was actually impossible for you to be reintegrated?
Well, no, because of what was going on with the parody account, how it was okay for them to do what they were doing and for the ECB to squash that, and yet there was a stick with which they could cane me with, and they went on me, I mean, with both barrels. They thought it was an opportunity to get rid of me, which...
Can I ask, in a sort of... trying to find a positive out of this, if a call came in, and I'm sensing from you it's unlikely, from the ECB, if the call comes in and says you were a great cricketer, you are a great cricketer, play for England, what happens next?
Well, you know, the good thing about that, and I'm glad you asked that, is because when I got sacked, I had a lot of the youngsters who are in the team at the moment sending me messages saying, thank you so much for your help. I've got young players messaging me the night before games this summer saying, how do I play against this guy? Where would you look to hit this guy? And that saddens me because I'd love to be in the dressing room in a team meeting talking about this or batting with these guys and helping them. I don't want to be sitting on my couch and getting a direct message or a text from a player talking about how he's going to hit one of the Indian bowlers or where would he look to score off one of the... I mean, that saddens me a lot.
Chances of it happening?
I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? Anything can happen. I came to England as a little off-spin bowler who could hardly bat. I've turned out to be England's greatest run scorer, so who knows? Michael
Vaughan, former England captain, said he liked managing you.
And I like Vaughan.
Yeah, and he never had a problem with you.
Yeah, and he's a great captain. He led us to that wonderful Ashes victory in 2005, which sort of transformed the game of cricket in this country. And, a lot can be owed to him, and he was my first captain, and I loved playing for Michael. Fantastic guy, fantastic leader.
Thank you very much for talking to us, Kevin.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Good to see you. Kevin's new book, you've seen it behind us, KP, the autobiography. Is that which day? Thursday?
It's on Thursday, yes.
Thursday. Thank you.